Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of Beard and Boarded. My name is Travis Tackett, and today we're going to talk about the comics I read this week. Let's get it started. The first book I want to talk about today is Superman number 19, and this book is pretty cool. It follows up on the Action Comic storyline that's happening right now, who is this mystery Clark Kent, and come to find out the entire time it's been Mr. Mitchell-Spitlick. He is a character from the fifth dimension. He's an imp. He's just this weird guy who can manipulate matter, and he's really cool. He's crazy. If you watch the Supergirl show, he was in one of the more recent episodes, in fact. Yeah, this story is really cool. Mr. Mitchell-Spitlick has kidnapped John Kent, Superman's son, and Superman's trying to find out a way to save him. So, yeah, I definitely suggest you pick this book up, especially if you're interested in Mr. Mitchell-Spitlick. Say that 4 or 5 times fast. Mr. Mitchell-Spitlick, Mr. Mitchell-Spitlick. Yeah, anyway, yeah, I'd give this one 4 out of 5 bearded Supermen. Next, we have SpiderMan number 14, Sitting in a Tree, Part 5. This is the Spider-Gwen Miles Morales Spider-Man crossover. I haven't really been enjoying this book. This issue was slightly better. It seems to have progressed a little more. It seems like these last few issues have been just like at a standstill. Nothing's really happening. But yeah, I wouldn't suggest you pick this up if you're interested in it. I guess I'd say wait for the trade or skip this altogether. I'd probably have to give this one 2 out of 5 bearded Miles Morales Spider-Man. Next, we have Batman number 19, I Am Bane. And in this issue, Batman's held up in the middle of Arkham Asylum, and he's waiting on Bane to come for him. Bane, meanwhile, has to fight through all the inmates in Gotham to get to Batman. And I think this is Batman's strategy, maybe to weaken Bane before he gets to him, so when he has to fight him, he's not at his full strength. Yeah, so you get to see cameos from so many of Batman's rogues gallery. The art in this is really amazing, and the story is fantastic. I'd have to give this one 5 out of 5 bearded Batman. Next, we have Marvel Monsters Unleashed number 5, and this issue ties everything up perfectly. This is the last in the miniseries, and the artwork is great, the story is really good, and I'm really liking this new character, Kid Kaiju, who can basically draw whatever monster he wants, and it basically is summoned, and it has to do his bidding. Yeah, he steps up and takes care of the Brood Mother character that was coming to take over the world, and yeah, I really enjoyed this book. I'd probably have to give this one 4 out of 5 beards. Next, we have Green Lanterns number 19 with Simon Baz and Jessica Cruz. In this issue, they're hunting down a character called Dr. Polaris, who can manipulate magnetism and metal. Yeah, he's a pretty cool character. He reminds me a lot of Magneto from Marvel Comics, except he's not as cool or badass. But yeah, they're trying to chase this guy down, and he seems to be a pretty formidable opponent for these two. The art is serviceable. The story looks like it's going to be good, and I'd probably have to give this one 4 out of 5 bearded John Stewarts. Next up, we have Daredevil number 18. This book is pretty awesome. Basically, Daredevil's trying to protect the Purple Kids, who are the children of Zebediah Killgrave, the Purple Man. And if you've watched the Netflix series Jessica Jones, you'll know a little bit about this character. His ability is to tell you to do something, and then you can't help but do that thing. The character's really interesting. These children of his amp up his power. That's why he's trying to get them. So, yeah, Daredevil's trying to protect them from him, and things go a little awry by the end of the story. But, yeah, I'm really enjoying it. The art is great. The story's looking like it's going to be really good. And I'd probably have to give this one 4 out of 5 Matt Murdock's with facial hair. Next up, we have Batwoman issue 1. This book has started off a little bit slow. It seems like they're kind of telling a few different stories at the same time and trying to tie them all together. But yeah, I really like the art in this book, and the story seems like it could be pretty interesting. Yeah, I'd probably have to give this one 3 out of 5 bearded Batman. Next up, we have The Amazing Spider-Man number 25, and this book is basically a trade. It's got like 6 different stories in it, 3 of them better than the other 3, but basically the first story is Spider-Man is trying to track down the Green Goblin using some information given to him by the Kingpin. And you also get to see what the Green Goblin is doing. That's basically all that happens in that issue, but after that there's also a short story where Spider-Man has to go off and deal with some B villains of his, and meanwhile something happens at Peter Parker's facilities, and a bunch of stuff gets destroyed, and basically it's like, things are going wrong for Peter Parker. That's what that story's about. After that, there's a little cute story with the Tsum Tsums, not that great. Then there's a little cute Aunt May story that is like 2 pages long or something. But by the end of this book, you get to see Dr. Octopus and see what he's up to. I'm going to leave it at that because it's pretty badass. I'm really excited to see where this is going. Overall, because of the price, I'd probably give this one 4 out of 5. I'd probably give it a 5 out of 5 if it was cheaper and it cut out some of those extra stories, but yeah, 4 out of 5, Bearded Spider-Man. Next up, we have God Country issue 3, and in this issue, you get to see Emmett interacting with his grandchild for the first time, probably ever, because the entire time she's been alive, I think he's had this problem with dementia, but now that he has Valofex, the mythical sword that's giving his memory back, he's able to interact with his family and have a great time. But meanwhile, there's something going on with the characters that want the sword back, and they basically send an army after the sword. Yeah, the artwork in this book is great. The story is really cool. The interactions between these characters are really entertaining, and I couldn't recommend this book anymore. I'd have to give this one 5 out of 5 shaved Emmets. Next up, we have All-Star Batman number 8, and this issue is amazing. The art is great, the storytelling by Scott Snyder is fantastic, and yeah, basically he's taken us through all of Batman's rogues gallery, and this time we get to deal with Jarvis Tetch, the Mad Hatter. And yeah, the art's great for this. You get to see Batman kind of freaking out, and it's kind of hallucinating or being manipulated by the Mad Hatter, and you get to see a lot of the rogues gallery looking like Alice in Wonderland themed and stuff like that. Yeah, the story is great, the art is great, and I'd have to give this one 5 out of 5 Bearded Batman. Last but not least, we have Sex Criminals issue 17. This book is for mature audiences only. It contains graphic imagery and graphic language. But if you're allowed to read it, I definitely suggest you check it out because it is hilarious. This issue follows a character called Myrtle Spurge. She is a sex cop, and that means she is able to freeze time whenever she has an orgasm. Basically, a lot of characters in this book can do that, but they also have other side abilities. But yeah, she uses hers to stop people from committing crimes when they use their time freezing orgasms. This book is really fun. The artwork is really good. If you like quirky comedies, I definitely suggest this if you are into mature comedies at least. And yeah, I'd probably give this one 4 out of 5 beards. Well, that's the end of this week's episode of Beard and Boarded, but it doesn't have to be the end of this week's conversation. If you want to talk about any of the books I read this week, go ahead and leave me a comment in the comments section below. Also, if you would, I'd really appreciate it if you liked, shared, and subscribed my YouTube channel. I'm at like 59 subscribers, and I'm looking to get 100 by the end of this month, and I'd really appreciate your help. Also, I'm on social media at Twitter, I'm on Snapchat, I'm on Instagram and Facebook. If you want to follow me on any of those things, that'd be great. I talk about stuff all day long, and I'd definitely like to interact with you. Well, I'll talk to you next week.